everybody. The promised, if you've been following on Twitter, stream of character building for Warp Drive Odyssey. Sorry this took so long. Had some family pop over and we got to chatting a while. Next thing I knew, the afternoon flew by. The giggling you are hearing in the background is the 4-year-old we usually warn you about that home and pops in and out. He's awake, very awake, so you're gonna hear him. Fair warning, I have not actually filled out a character sheet in about 4 years, so we're kind of gonna be doing this for the first time with you. Lots changed in the game since I made one last. You can see right here, we are kind of got it a little rigged. We're figuring it out. Zoom out a little bit for you. Not a whole lot to it. This is a D20 based game, so you're going to see it looks fairly familiar to your Pathfinder or your D&D. I apologize if this is a little unreadable. We've kind of made it work with the cameras in between gaming situations with where we stream, our stream. And, well, this was a good opportunity for us to figure out how camera setup will work when we're actually able to have a map and menus and all of that. You got the name, basic stats, skills, you got your intelligence. This is where it gets a little different. I apologize if looks like you cannot read this at all. There we go. You have computers, history, piloting, and mechanics on top of some basics that you will recognize there. All listed under the intelligence header. We did group your skills to the basic stats or attributes, if you will. I think that's what we call them. Under wisdom, we've got a number of your basics there: animal handling, insight, medicine. You will also see down here we have a science based. That one gets a little trickier to figure that one out. We actually blended intelligence and wisdom there because, as one fantastic Dr. Malcolm Reynolds in Jurassic Park once said, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. Get into, where am I here? Your dexterity, pretty basic, acrobatics, sleight of hand, stealth. We also have a driving one because while you are piloting your spaceships and your mechs, you drive any other vehicle, and land vehicles do exist in this game. Doesn't necessarily mean you know how to drive it, and if you're in an intense combat situation or trying to get out of a military base or kidnapping someone, robbing a bank, I don't know, driving can get difficult. We got your charisma stuff, pretty standard issue there. And the last thing we got way down at the bottom under strength is your athletic skill. We ditched constitution because we didn't use it. We threw it all in there to begin with because we're running everything off of what we knew as a standard tabletop RPG gameplay. After playing the game for a little while, it just dawned on us that there was no reason for a constitution to be a part of it that could file right under strength. Made sense to us. Back up at the top, I've got a little space here for your player name, what species you are. We only have, I believe, 4 or 5, I believe, playable species. However, once you get into the creature manual, you will see a ton of non-playable species. Statted out, so if you decide to just, the Celeste sounds really freaking cool, I have to play it, to be able to throw it in there and play it if you wish. your classes. Okay, I'm moving. Okay. Again, we kept it pretty simple. I think we have 8 classes. Armor will break down into your, like, your base armor, just as you dressed, how well you physically can take a hit just if you just rolled out of bed and got going with it. Then a secondary for if you're actually wearing armor. Same thing goes for hit points. We have your hit points just as is and what your hit points can be if you are wearing armor. Which, depending on the armor, can be vastly different. I know for a fact, Jala without hit points when we ended the game was about without armor was about 100. Jala with armor was almost 500. Huge difference there. And I did break it down, as you can see, into whatever the total hit points are and whatever the current hit points are for as the battle is going on. That way you're not constantly erasing one number. You have a little play there. Hit dice. You will see we kept it pretty simple. We stick to D20 no matter what. Just made sense for the game. For us, it rarely came up, but depending on how you're playing the game and your campaign, hit dice may be something you want to use or the rest. Whatevs. This is where we get a little off the beaten path here too. We did not bother doing life saves. It's silly. The death saves, we agreed to 4 because base, big hits, big deaths. Also, I don't think it's in the handbook. It's something that recently came up. We've worked it out to where if you fail a death save, let's say you failed that very first death save, whatever number you rolled that you failed, you can add that number to your next death save. So let's say dice here. Let's say, yeah, I rolled a 6. Oh, I failed that death save. Remember that number. Write it down somewhere. Does that? Oh, shoot. There was a 9. Okay, well, that's still a fail. I'm going to remember that number. Write it down somewhere. The next time you roll, which was a 10, I can add that 9, and hey, that was a 19. Jala's back. Alright. And it can just keep going. Now, if you're rolling really poor, like all 1s, you'll probably not stand a chance. Get into the weapons. Tried to keep it fairly simple. There's not a lot of room, but depending on how you play a game, you might not be needing a lot of weapons on hand because this is the weapons that you have on your person, not on your ship. Straighten this out a little bit so you can. There we go. Weapon type, attack bonus, which goes just straight off of your dexterity score. We didn't make it too difficult. And whatever the damage is done. Again, I didn't leave a lot of space because usually you will just have your combat knife, which is standard issue, some kind of pistol, maybe some kind of rifle. If you want more than that, go for it. Personally, with Jala, I never felt reason to really have anything more than that. But sometimes you can go a little crazy. Then your equipment, which is everything else. This will be your pick system, your easy key, any rope or whatever, if you've played a TT. Come on. This little blank spot here is a little area I left for a picture if you felt like drawing your character or commission work, whatnot. Your character's name, their initiative in a battle, in a fight, their general speed, which really did not come up a lot in our game. I think it's just how we ended up playing. Experience, if you want to work with experience points, that is all listed in the game. Game book, we didn't use it. We went through a milestone-based game. Leadership points are a feature that I will read off to you when I get there in the game book. And credits is your in-game currency. We started calling them Pandora marks until we realized, you know what, we've actually got different kinds of currency in the game. Living in Pandora, you use Pandora marks. If you're from the Mechale's home world, you would use Corva. All sorts of different ones out there. So we just stuck with credits. That way you can write down whatever you happen to have needed. Hi, viewer. Now, if you've got 10,000 Pandora marks and 8 Corva, because 8 Corva and Pandora marks. Your abilities is what you would know as bonus skills or feats in the old D&D. There's all that fun extra stuff you get at certain levels. I left a lot of space here because every 3rd or 4th level, you know, 3rd, 6th, 9th, I think, whatever, you get a new ability. We do start with 2 at level 1. You would get a passive and an active ability. So 1 is just something you just know. If Jala has a... My Jala character sheet upstairs. No, it's not. Oh, that's not it. No, that's it. Yep, my Jala character. Let's say you're really good in investigating and you take a feat where you just automatically have a plus to your passive. That would be a passive feat. You just automatically see more. Then you have your active feats, like Jala's got one recently called Loose Lips, where if she is within sight of a person, you can read their lips if she chooses to do so. And so on and so forth. So, with that, you will be seeing me look in this direction a lot, because that's where my computer screen is, and it's where I have the GM handbook loaded up. And if you'll excuse me, I'm dying of thirst and need a drink, so go ahead and continue taking a look at that. I will be right back. I apologize, folks. We're back. All right. Alright, and here we go. Now today I am going to be creating the Landel, and I chose something that has not been seen on stream before. I know we had a human Jack, Jala and Gajdruk were both Agma. While we did not have a picture of him, Halo was a Vlakir who was human-like in looks, but more serious. They were not from Earth, they were from another planet. What? Human-like Vlakir, human-like race that tried to take control of the Pandora system for some time. The Valkyr are at war with the human rebel force in the tug of war for the Pandora system. Valkyr are the mirror form of human, except they try not to show emotions like human. They are an emotional species. They're not emotionless. Just as they mature, they are taught to just avoid themselves, that not outwardly show it, at least. They are neat, trimmed, and timely in all things. Their planet, Edendale, was pulled through a wormhole on the opposite end of the Pandora system. Okay, sorry. The planet Edendale was pulled through a wormhole on the opposite end of the Pandora system, where they shadowed the human species quietly. The Agma, Jabu, and Landals tried to stay out of the conflict between the Landals and the Valkyr and the human. Now, for the character I'm creating, which is going to be a Landal, that if I ever get a chance to actually the character, which is probably what I'm doing today, I'm going to make the Landal, a bipedal humanoid with tan skin, very large eyes, a mohawk hairstyle that they are born with, non-religious but obsessed with technology, average height 6 foot, live on a desert planet. Living on a desert planet, their tan skin gives them away in any setting. They evolved on a planet they called Ferengina, which is scorching during the day and freezes at night. A tough species by nature, however, they do not seem to get along with the Agma. They operate together, but barely. They were one of the first species in their solar system to achieve warp speed, or FTL. They have been introduced to humans and Jabu through interactions with the Agma, and their story continues. One of the main reasons we only have 4 or 5 playable species is you start in the Pandora system. And in the Pandora system, these species are the main species, comings and goings of others, but in your everyday, on a planet in Pandora, let's say the planet of Yandan Katan, which is where most of this will start, these are the species we'll be seeing: human, Agma, Landal, Jabu, Valkyr. That's it. Okay. Oh, welcome to Quick Track Odyssey. Nessa is playing a Landal. Okay. Haven't figured out a name yet. We'll get there. Let's get down to the classes. Have a soldier seen already in Jack. Oh, doctor might be fun. The Stargazer, you guys can pretty much probably figure out what soldier and doctor are all about without me reading it off. But we do need to elaborate a little bit more. I am planning on it. The soldier, you've had some hard decisions to make, but you've made them. You are trained in tactics and know how to be prepared. You are familiar with all known weapons. Doctor, fresh out of the academy and green around the ears, but very intelligent. You learned a lot about travel, navigation, and medical knowledge. The Stargazer, which might be what I do. You always wanted to leave your home planet. Now you have after you come of age. You're a natural leader and pretty handy with a gun. The Diplomat, which was seen in the wonderful Godric Valhalla in our stream game. You're a trusted member of any team and can easily find your way around any ship. All ships are the same to you and you can't wait to set off on another adventure. Space is your home. The pilot, you have been among the stars for some time, you have traveled and know your way around the ship. The scout, which believe it or not was actually what I created as Jala for her class. As we played, she kind of turned into just the ship captain, almost leading the diplomat, but at the time she was get off and then God did she and then oh, this is true about her though. All about the PM's Pandora marks and will hurt anyone who messes with you or your crew. Absolutely fact. Ooh, Lord. A dark past and an Ellen rebel. The engineer. You've heard probably quite a bit about our NPC engineers if you watched any of our game. Understands biochemical engineering, industrial engineering, black matter physics, and a plethora of other sciences. Not much for relationships, however, a great problem solver when it comes to science. And the sniper, which was Halo in our game. Long range bad touches, it's how you do things. You know how to survive alone in bad areas for extended periods of time. Yep. So sniper, engineer, scout, pilot, diplomat, stargazer, doctor, soldier. 8 different classes. We tried to get away from just parts of a crew on a ship because you're going to be doing much more than just manning a ship. You actually, part of playing the game is earning your first shift. When you first start, you are just on Yandan, finding your way, living your life. And one of the first arcs, ship and going off on your adventures to whatever that may entail. They're your jam. But I think we're gonna do the start for something low. Oh, class. Plus, that seems like something a Landel might like to discuss. Hey, I've been on this desert planet my entire life. I'm bored. Let me get out, please. Okay, so this I blind everybody here for a hot second. I'm very sorry. I'm about to. Never mind. Not gonna work like. Alright. I'm just gonna read it off. We have a quick reference as to how to write out your character sheet, what goes on to the character sheet for the Landel and the Stargazer. So, first thing you're gonna want to look up is your HP. It's all, for the most part, the same for everyone. Just because, again, you get into your armor for a lot of this. I'm gonna go ahead and roll up the HP. I apologize. Not sure what just happened there. Because this is such a heavy hitting game, even if you're on a ship a whole lot, we have some pretty high HP. We've actually cranked it down quite a bit compared to what it was. We learned. Base HP is roll 4d10 and go with it here. So let's see. Oh Lord, those are some numbers. So her initial hit points is 42. Not bad for a level 1. Hopefully she don't get winged by 2. Okay. Now, we're gonna go ahead and skippity dip over here to our skills and stats. We actually recommend using a basic array. We have one written down here in the game book. If you don't wish to use that, please feel free to use whatever D20 base means you prefer, or point by if you want to come up with something. We just discovered it was easier for the numbers in this game to use an array. It's also broken down into just how to do it if you want. If you've never played before or the math is confusing, we've got everything broken down into an array or even rolling your own. Do it. We go the array from top to bottom. It doesn't get above a 17 actually. I know base max is usually a 20 and you get there with stuff. We don't really play about going above that. It's a crazy game. Science is weird. Space is weird. We go 17, 16, 15, 14, 12, and 10. Not gonna get into negative modifiers here. So let's see. I feel like someone who grew up on a desert planet probably gonna have some pretty good. But I would like to think she's a little wiser, so I'm gonna put a 16 in the strength, 17 in the wisdom, 15 in the dexterity. And I just discovered a problem, but we're just going over this. See, this is why I'm doing this. You get to learn and I get to learn. With 14 intelligence and 12 for charisma, and I cannot use 10 because we got rid of constitution. I realized that kind of mucks this little part up. That's okay. Use dexterity modifier for the weapon attack. A dexterity modifier being you can put these numbers wherever you want. I'm doing it on the side so it doesn't get real cluttered down here. You can write them down in here if you want. Well, whatever weapons I get, that attack bonus is going to be a +2. I'm just going to add 2 things there. right off the top, they're gonna get a +3 to intelligence. All the attributes under intelligence. So all of these guys automatically gonna get a +3 plus this. I have across the board. Fives here, and I will erase and change as needed. Like I said, it has been a while. Wisdom's also +3. Okay, so looking pretty good right now. Now this is where it gets a little weird because the science is actually wisdom plus intelligence. So that's actually going to be a +7. And she gets 30 feet of movement speed. Again, if that's your jam. Apologize if this is like garbage video. If you now, you can choose between medium or light armor. If you do heavy armor, you will hit L, 1 square ding, and so you get 25 feet of movement instead of 30 if you were to choose heavy armor for your character. Nope, but I feel like she'd want to move. She's probably gonna do light armor. I'm just gonna go ahead and write that right here that she is in light armor. That probably wouldn't be a whole lot to the hit points. Realistically, still do a banging job, but I'd have to look and see what that those actually are. We're just throwing this out there. How was that? Oh, they added HP. That would probably do. Okay. Yes. Dexterity modifier for weapon attack bonus for pistol, rifles, or launchers. Already got that down. Finding your AC. Start with a 10. Everyone's AC would be at a base of 10. Then 2d6. Take the highest number and add your dexterity modifier. Alright. Gonna use some baby dice here. Pull it right on screen for you. My precious little baby pep dice. So you got 10 plus 3. And oh! Okay. Let's see if that 3 stays. That 3 stays because that was a 1. So got 13. So 10 plus 3 is 13. Plus the dexterity modifier. They are at a 15 for AC, which is your armor. Gotta add that too. Alright. $15 to run light armor. So let's just go ahead and say 17 because I'm pretty sure it's a +2 to their base on light armor. Initiative, if you wish to use it, is just your dexterity modifier. So that's going to be a plus initiative. And then this is next part here is explaining that science modifier is your wisdom and intelligence together. Handle side of it, now the Stargazer side of it, the extra bonuses you get for being your class, you'll get an extra +1 to insight. Those be a +6. +2 to medicine. 7 there. +2 to computers. So we're going to run up here and turn this into a +7. +2 to persuade. And way down here that I didn't finish. I'm like, +7. And +2 acrobatics. Alright. Alright. And equipment options for the base class level 1 Stargazer. You get to choose from 2 of a small list of weapons we have under the class section. If, as you start to play, that character wants to buy new stuff, we've got a whole list of stuff in the market when they got the money for it that they can buy. But right now, to keep things simple, we selected 4 or 5 items, maybe 6, depending. I think the soldiers got 6. Nope, soldiers only got 4 too. 4. Okay. Looks like we kept it to 4 per class. I'm sorry, I haven't. Oh, been a minute. We have an option of 4 different weapons you can pick per class to start. I know I sound like I barely know what I'm talking about, but this game has changed quite a bit since we started playing regularly 4 years ago. I realized how much we've done, how much we still had to go, and some of the changes you can even watch happen on screen to watch our stream. All can be found archived on our YouTube channel, Mind of Miro. Alright, so the Stargazer, pick 2 from below. We have the kinetic holdout pistol, which is 600 PMs if you bought it, but you're just gonna have it. You get 2 shots per turn, 1d4 damage per shot. Where's the kinetic sporting rifle, which is 600 PMs off the top, but again, you'll just have it. 2 shots per turn, 1d6 damage per shot with a range of 50 squares. Energy holdout pistol, 800 PMs. 3 shots per turn, 1d4 damage per shot. Get 3 shots. And 30 squares. So it goes farther, does a little damage, and because energy, it'll recycle as you wait. Yes, you'll lose the charge, but it'll charge back up. Kinetic, you're out of shots. You're out of shots, you gotta reload. Or the energy splitting rifle, another 800 PMs, 3 shots per turn, 1d8 damage, 75 squares. I recommend getting 1 energy and 1 kinetic, because you never know when something might just like having that energy shots come up to you. And there's also things out there where energy it might not take any damage, but a kinetic regular old bullet, and you need that energy round to electrocute it and kill it. So I think what they are going to do is a kinetic pistol and an energy rifle, because I feel like if you're living on a desert planet and need a rifle to kill things, you're probably going to want to go electrical. So let's just put K pistol. One D4. This is also the first experiment I got to have with this new character sheet. We had to revamp it. The one we had worked for the time, but we quickly realized that it was just getting too cluttered, so this was my attempt to unclutter it, and now I'm sitting down and learning how well that's working. Not sure about that yet. Your equipment, your studying equipment, you already have a rucksack. We came into this with the idea that even your first levels are adults that have had lives and done things and might be moving around already and own product. So they're gonna have a rucksack if they're going off on an adventure. They're gonna have a bag ready to rock. What do they already have? This case, this person has got the equipment. 50 rounds of ammo for both weapons selected. So 50 bullets for the kinetic and 50 rounds of I forgot what we call them. Energy shot. I guess we'll call that for now. I apologize. I'm blanking on what we actually called those. For the energy rifle. $7 days worth of rations, wherever they happen to eat. One flashlight. One tent for one person. I gotta see something. One homemade knife. Every rucksack has some form of knife in it. We based what the knife is like depending on the class. So let's say you get into pilot here has a survival knife with matches and needle and thread in the handle. The scout has a combat knife with matches and a small amount of fuel in the handle. The sniper has a combat knife with 10 matches, a compass, and a tracking beacon able to detect up to 10 miles. To give you a quick idea then, what the difference. Now we're getting into your on-hand items, the rest of your equipment. That is your pick system. Pick is short for Personal Inventory Interface Control System. Throw some stuff out at you here, you'll know what I mean. Loosely based on the Pip-Boy from Fallout. Basically, take your cell phone, slap it on your wrist, except make it capable of doing literally almost anything. 3D, throw up stuff, transfer all your funds, keep track of your inventory, do all your internet stuff. Excellent. If you can't. Attaches to a person's arm and is able to interface, interact, and scan. Use the pick system to roll for computer checks or anything electrical. You can interface with your ships with them, with androids if you come across them. Yeah, it's basically your window to the world. Everybody gets one. I'm pretty sure we made it to where once you come of age, you are just given one, sort of like getting a cell phone or a watch or a car. Not wildly expensive because they're so common and they get damaged a lot among adventurers. Jala went through like 4 of them because hers just kept melting. But more on that later, hopefully, when we get back to the game. Interact, able to send and receive data from the orbital ordering systems to the internet. Able to contact and receive calls from other persons, able to transfer credits and make purchases. Interface, able to connect to the information computers on ships, vehicles, and ground structures, i.e. system analysis, whether online and offline, the amount of fuel and munition. But you cannot make the ship do things remotely, so you can't just pilot the ship from your pick. And a scan, able to scan personal vehicles and most structures, except items with information scramblers, able to scan within 60 feet of a desired object, and that's getting the life sign. All here is the electricity running, all that jazz. The system is designed to allow interface with your ship, look at your inventory on hand, and log information for later use. Examples. You're on the ground moving through a city and forgot how much ammo is on the ship. If you didn't log it, the character can interface with the ship from a faraway distance to get the accurate information. Basically, oh crap, is everybody in this way? Hey, is everybody on board? Okay. Do a scan, check for life signs, damage, whatnot. Oh, cool. My crew's still doing what they're supposed to do. Done. The easy key is something that just a couple of people have. Key must be purchased from a vendor. However, an easy key is for the more sneaky types. It allows for hacking and stealing PMs from someone's systems. You may purchase one at the beginning of the game or need to find a underground shop to purchase one. Basically helps you hack. Now is the fun part. We get into the ability. We have actually got all of our abilities broken down not only into passive and active, but by level. At level 1, you only get passive abilities. Once you get into your higher levels, then next time you're able to get more abilities at a level up, I believe is level 3, you can choose a passive and an active. So right now we're going to choose 2 passive abilities. Boop. Got maintenance, able to perform general ship maintenance. Smaller holes in the hull, minor thruster damage, yada yada. That'd be a great one for an engineer. Something you just know. Oh yeah, there's a dent in the hull I'd like to pound out. If I usually roll for that, you have this ability, maintenance ability. I can just do it. Major repairs, able to repair major damage, like the thruster ripped off, or there's a large hull breach. Yes, you will have to roll because you get advantage on a repair roll. Invent. You have been studying hard and now understand what it'll take to make it in space. Not everything will be given to you. You must build. Twice a day, you are able to roll a percentile die to see if you invent something within your level range, which is within 5 levels. So if you're at a level 2, is it something within level 2 or level 7? You must be standing near a workbench. So you have to have a workspace in order to utilize this. First aid. You have been to school and know how to patch up some of the worst scrapes and set broken bones. You gain advantage to first aid rolls in the field or in the medical room. Great for the doctor. Computer science, which is the very first ability I gave Jala. You have been to school and understand how most technologies work and have a good understanding of code. You know a trick or two to get doors open. You gain advantage on computer checks. I'm editing this though because it's soapbox. Once a day, you are granted advantage on persuasion rolls. So you are giving that speech, you are standing on your soapbox, heart on your sleeves, telling them what you want. But they should be listening. You get advantage. Chow hall. The cook can grant each team member advantage on one skill challenge after each meal. Yeah, where'd he go? I knew I was missing somebody. How'd I... That's what I'm missing. There's actually 9. Because the cook is a playable class. I'm missing. But here. Hey! Sensitive senses. You have the ability to use scanners and detect equipment. Can be granted to another player if a team member could not attend. Okay. So even if you're not of a class trained in it, you can still take this. But oh, you just know how to use all the scanners and stuff. That'd be good for a scout or whatever. Any sort of detection equipment you just have learned how to use, know how to use. If for some reason you can't play, hand this off to another player to do. And shuttle driver. This is an awesome one for the pilots. You know how to fly ships and land most known ships. You'll notice the word known and unknown in here a lot. Because space is vast, there's new species everywhere. Just because it seems like it doesn't actually does. Just because it's in your world doesn't all that jazz. +3 dexterity while piloting. I think that this person is going to be good at maintenance. Could you get him a drink? Dad's got it. I'm gonna kind of generalize. Reads like you do not need to roll. And invent sounds like an amazing one for them too. Twice a day. Uh, Leadership points, obviously experience is going to be left blank for now because experience points come with playing. Leadership points is actually an in-game thing. Left that. Because 26 people. Give me a moment, everyone. I apologize. Ah, yes. Your leadership points. All right. When you are in charge of 30 or more people, regardless of your or their class, GM may authorize adding 1d4 towards a group action. So, let's say you give a speech to motivate the people under your command. All attacks made during an encounter by the people under the player command receive 1d4 added to the d20 roll. At the end of the encounter, the leadership points are gone for the day. So let's say you are leading a group of citizens from that torn up town through a place of safety. They're scared. There's enemies at the gate, if you will. Stop off to take a rest and give them a speech of courage and pride. And it's okay. You can get there. Just keep going. We can do it. If there are more than 30 of these citizens, your GM can say, perfect, 1d4 to any action they make as a group against whoever is coming after them. If they attack, they can get that extra d4, and hopefully that gives the boost they need to get to safety. That d4 lasts for every attack they have until the end of that encounter, good or bad. At the end of the encounter, that d4 goes away, but that's the only time you can do it for that day. The next day, if you need to run, then if you same thing for the captain of a ship. So you have a large ship, like a freighter or something, that takes more than 30 people to run. Like, I believe Jack's. It might have been Godric's. And it's just not looking good in battle. Give them that boost of courage. Come on, let's go. I'm here to fight with you. And they get 1d4. Your whole crew, whenever they shoot those guns or make maneuvers, gets 1d4 bonus to their rolls for the remainder of the encounter. Once the encounter is done, a d4 roll. Credits. Hey, GM. I can't find it right now. How many credits does everybody start with? We decided, again, since you have done things since you started adventuring, everybody's gonna have money, and to make it easy, everybody starts with a same amount of money. Right now. Yes.
More or less, is that start everybody good life. Starting with 50,000 ends like higher caliber, or are they not? So hard to game. The best answer I can give you.
Okay, 50,000. Okay. And she needs a name, y'all. Yep. You got a name?
Anthea.
Anthea. That's a nice name.
My Anthea.
All right. Well, guess what, y'all? Get out of the way. Doesn't look like much, but she's a Landel. Her name is Anthea. She is a Landel Stargazer. Wears light armor. Currently has an AC of 17. 42 hit points. Oh, yes. Important to note how we play this game for combat. 3 actions, a reaction, and the movement in her case is 30 feet. So automatically you get 3 actions off the get-go, and when it's your turn. A reaction to something that's happening around you, and your movement of 30 feet.
Now, if they're wearing heavy armor.
I went over that.
Okay.
You get dinged. Yep. What were we doing? Just 1d20 and then it goes up the hit dice? Let me get to the level up section. Okay, level 1. You get what you start out with your character creation. You gain 1 hit dice at each level. 1d12. Okay, I was way off. We actually use a d12 across the board for hit dice. But you can use the gain hit points.
I think it was a d20.
And then we decided that was way too much. Yeah.
It was heavy-handed, and we just went. Now, when you level up, it's 2d20. Or it's like 1 or 2.
Yes, it's the d20 for adding to your HP. Yeah. You can use them during short rests or when you step away from combat. So you can throw in, okay, things are over, short rest, that's fine. Or if they're just in a long method of combat and let's say you're trying to run from one end of your ship to another, you can take that break, boost up a couple of hit points, pop a canine injector or something. So, she right now gets 1d12. And we went over the death saves, how that works earlier. D12, there's a 4 death saves, there's a kinetic pistol and her energy rifle, and a 50 rounds, and a rations, and a flashlight, and a tent and a knife. And all of her skills. 2 to intelligence, 7 computers, 5 across the board for the rest for now. That'll change as she levels up. Wisdom, 5 and a 6 and a 7. Look at all these pretty changes here in wisdom. Dexterity stuff. She's looking pretty good. She might actually survive a little bit. We can only hope. Got a +2 to her initiative. Which initiative? We don't go real hard on that. You just roll your d20, add your dexterity. There you go. You can move 30 feet. She doesn't have any experience yet. She's not leading a large group, so she doesn't have any leadership points. She's got the 50,000 credits and the hope for more. And she can fix stuff and invent stuff. And guess what, folks? That is all it takes to get started in Warp Drive Odyssey. And I was kind of faking my way through it because it's been 4 years since I made a character and the game's changed quite a bit. And we've only been sitting here about an hour. And let's be honest, I read quite a bit to you.
Well, the whole game, possibly 20 minutes. Yeah, we've said that.
Yeah, and once you sit down and actually read the book and kind of know what you're going for and just gotta whip out the character sheet real quick, you can easily pull a character together in 15-20 minutes. This, I took my time, read some stuff, went back and forth, made sure I got it all. Yep.
I built. Gotten to the point where I can.
And that's it, folks. I know this was a little probably hard to see, and I do apologize about all that. Right. You heard quite a bit about the game, actually. There is a lot you didn't hear about because the market is huge. The creature manual with all your other non-playable races and your actual creatures and stuff is huge. Just a big fun world. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you all if you sat and listened. I'm sorry this was so late. Have a great night. Be safe. If you haven't followed us, please do. You can find us on Twitch, on Twitter, on YouTube, Mind of Monroe. We have it on Facebook and Ko-Fi. So hit us up. Love you guys. Be safe. Bye.